Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Wednesday, June 1st, and welcome to an all-new episode of Style by Stevie. We are now in the month of June. Happy Pride Month to all of my Fashion Dolls, brothers and sisters that are in our community, the LGBTQ plus community. We are the trailblazers. We are the trendsetters. Joining me today, Fashion Dolls, we have editor, publicist, the writer, director. He does all of that and so much more. He is a Michigan native. Hopefully I got that right. Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Leland Benford. So let me go on ahead and share this live. And I hope you guys all are doing wonderful. It is June the 1st. We have made it to a new month. It is springtime. Well, typically summer. I guess you could say springtime, summertime, in between. So without further ado, let's get into this interview, Fashion Dolls. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Dollhouse. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
It is such a pleasure to have you here. I'm doing wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, 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 yes. So before we get into this interview, because I know you are a very busy man, of course, we're going to talk about empathy, which you've been working so diligently on, and so many things. 2022, how has 2022 been for you thus far? Because I know you being a director, an editor, and a writer is so much to take on. And then with the shutdowns and things, like how has the pandemic affected you overall and how have you been doing?
2022 has been good. I like to say 2022 is 2020, but take two. So I'm trying to get everything done that I wanted to do in 2020. But it has definitely gave us some new opportunities, its own challenges. But so far, so good. 6 months in, my wife and I, we own a production company called Cupcake Rapture Studios. So we this with Empathy, that was our first feature, and our goal was to shoot a feature this year. We just didn't know the opportunity was going to come in the first 6 months. So we're excited that we were able to do it and handle it. But yeah, 2022 has been really good so far. How about you? How's your 2022 going?
I will say this: it has its trials and tribulations, but I'm still here, still flourishing. I can't believe we made it now to the month of June. It's absolutely amazing.
I know we're in Gemini season. Shout out to my sister Henrika, who her birthday is today. My wife is a Gemini. I have another sister that's a Gemini. I'm a Taurus, so I got my love-hate relationship with Gemini, but I'm married to one, so I guess I love them more than I hate
Hey, it balances out. All right, fashion dolls. So before we get into, wait a minute, let me see. We got a question. Okay, Jennifer wants to know, where is your production company located?
them. We are stationed out of Atlanta, Georgia. We moved here 4 years ago. It's Cupcake underscore Rapture underscore Studios. We primarily do commercial content, and we help businesses grow and get more traction online. And we also handle music videos and productions.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you're the jack of all trades. So we're gonna start opening this storybook from the beginning. And you grew up in Detroit, Michigan, am I correct?
313 D-Town.
All right, all right. So what was it like growing up in Detroit? Did you always have a passion for directing and writing for film?
So, real quick, interesting tidbit about me. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. My father and my mother. My father passed, but he was a pastor. My mother's still with us. She's a pastor. So I grew up in a church. I'm a pastor's kid. I'm actually number 19 from my father. Yeah, I know, right? I have a sister that's a year older than my mother. It's real Arkansas type stuff. Um, but so yeah, I grew up as a pastor kid, and I grew up watching my father kind of lead congregations and lead services. But one of his sons from his previous marriage, Vasel Benford, my brother, he is a music producer, and he actually produced music for like House Party and Class Act. And I remember we got a tape of Class Act, in the mail from my brother Vassell. And I remember watching the opening credits, and it said Vassell Benford. And I remember, and I was in kindergarten then. And I remember seeing just my name on the TV, and I was like, "That's pretty cool. I kind of want to do that." And I just been stuck, kind of doing it one way or the other ever since.
We have the mother, and she is also creative in her own divine right. Shout outs to Eternal Sincere. Eternal's mom, Rich, make sure you guys please go and follow her. She is incredible. She is freaking awesome. And she has her own company. So make sure you guys please go and follow her. We believe in supporting everything Black here on Style by Steve. So had to throw those plugs out there. And there's going to be a few more familiar faces pop in. So definitely, let me see. Same for my husband. We have a production company called Allen Invasion Entertainment, and that is from Jennifer.
Hey, check them out.
Absolutely. So speaking of productions, well, thank you, Jennifer, for mentioning that because that was actually going to be the next where venture where I go into the design production. What advice would you give to people that are looking to get into production? Because you're a man of many hats. You edit, you direct, and you write, and it's not easy, especially But you and your wife have a company together, so it's a team. But for me here at Style by Stevie, of course, I have my co-host with me. Shout outs to Johnny. But lately I've been having to, pick up the slack and do it all, because it's definitely a balance. So how do you find that balance, and what advice would you give to someone that's looking to get into production?
If you're looking to get into production, definitely just look for people that's already in the space and just write, send them a message and say, "Hey, I would love to pick your brain. Do you mind if I buy you lunch one day?" And a lot can happen from those conversations. A lot can definitely transpire. Networking is a big part of it, because you're always, especially in Atlanta, it's very competitive. So you need to find your niche and what you do well, um, and really just build those relationships. That's really the most important. I mean, your work needs to be good because it's so competitive. But your work can also stand out. Look for ways to stand out, and just look for people. Like, I have a lot of internet role models that don't know they're my internet role model, and they're people that I look up to, and they're people that I inspire for my work to look like theirs, but also have my own taste. But I learned this from a book I read called Unlock It. And there he has the guy, he's an advertiser. He has a lookbook, and he has a lookbook, like many lookbooks. But what he does, he just goes through magazines and he rips out the ones he like, and he puts them away, and that's his lookbook. So when he gets stuck or he's looking for new inspiration, he has something to go to. And I started doing that just with production. So I have a file on my computer of many music videos, different movie scenes, different advertisements, different commercials. And anytime I get stuck, or if I feel creativity, like my creative cup is just empty, I go back to that lookbook to try to get re-inspired um, and look for new ideals. Pretty much. So I would say definitely, if you want to start a production company, know what you want your content to look like. Find people who's already doing it and become obsessed with them. That's the best way I can come about it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add on to that as well, too. Jennifer just made an excellent point. She said it's expensive. Yes, networking is key. Absolutely. In this field of any form, whether it's production, directing, writing, networking is definitely key. So make sure you link up with the right people. And what advice would you give to people who, don't have the funds to produce and direct or follow their passions? Because filming, producing, directing, buying the equipment is so much that goes into it. It takes a lot.
My advice to that is, don't get hung up on the gear. Don't get hung up on the equipment. There's people out here making great stuff on their phone. And even with my camera that I have and my gear, there's moments where I pull my phone out and I get the shot that way because I have an iPhone 12, so I can shoot 4K. I can shoot slow motion 4K. There's and also you can get a little lavalier mic for your iPhone that costs $40. So and you get a little light for your phone that costs $30. So just for $70, you already have a mini production kit right there. It's really about the story that you're trying to tell and the what you can do with what you have. Just work with what you got, and then find clients who like your style, and then that will help you get to your next level, and you start adding in different pieces of gear that you want. So I have my eye on some audio equipment, and I know I'm going to get it when I'm ready for it. But I'm not going to let that hang me up from getting on to my next production or anything like that. I'm going to use what I got.
Okay. And Jennifer also said that we are making a book called Boudoir and Lingerie Models of Color.
Ooh,
Okay. Yes. And
nice.
speaking of supermodels, we have a supermodel coming tomorrow. Cara Young, who's graced the covers of Vogue magazine, Harper's Bazaar, and Elle. She signed a contract with Revlon Cosmetics, Maybelline Cosmetics, and CoverGirl. She will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. So that is going to be a very big interview. Make sure you guys tune in to get it
I'm in
from
good
Queen
company here.
herself. But yes, photography, making sure that you have, I love what you just said, Leland, which is making sure that you have a layout, a format. Even for me working in fashion throughout these many years, I always have to pull inspiration from somewhere. Even designers have to pull inspiration from somewhere. Like this year's theme for the Met Gala, which is the biggest event in the fashion world ever, the theme was gilded glamour. So they had to pull from like the 1800s, different decades of fashion.
Yeah.
And if you guys watch Game of Thrones, you know about the train caboose type dress. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's the thing that they were kind of going for. Everything has a concept. So when you're directing, when you're producing, whatever it is, make sure that you go along with that concept. Which inspiration is out here. You just have to find it. So Leland, for you, especially with this upcoming project, you can't really give a whole lot about it because the project drops when in 2023, correct?
I mean, we're aiming for this year. We'll see.
All right.
We're ambitious.
So I know you can't give away a whole lot on this project. I've seen, clips, snippets here and
Yeah.
there in the group on FE. But what was I about to ask you? I lost train of thought just that fast. I was about to say is where do you get the inspiration from some of your projects? Because you've done so many, and I can go down the list here of projects that you've done from Ice Pimp, Dear Sister, 140 Minutes. Out of all of your projects, The Ultimatum, all of your projects, where do you pull that inspiration from? Like, does it come from a place of life experience, or just things that you've seen throughout the neighborhood growing up? Where do you find that inspiration?
So, I love storytelling. I love being a part of that process. To let you know about empathy, with empathy, this was a real inspirational story because the writer, his name is Rob Gantz. He's out of Gaffney, South Carolina. 10 years ago, the doctors told Rob that he only had 3 years to live. And at that time, he wrote this script called Empathy. Now, thank God he's still with us. He's beaten all the odds. And he's held on to this movie for a very, very long time. And then I ended up crossing paths with him. And then once we crossed paths, he sent me the script. I read the script, and I thought there was a lot of good aspects there. I thought it was a lot to work with. So then I told him I'll come on to it. And then the more we worked on it and kind of having that director's writer's relationship, we went through our collaboration process, which was a task in itself because I'm telling him, hey, I kind of want to change some things to a story that you've been carrying around for 10 years. So he had to give me a lot of trust during that process to say, hey, I'm here to make it the best it can be. And then after we went through that process, we got a really solid script. And the script is something very unique. And I think is very much of the time, especially today with the Amber Heard verdict coming out. But it is dealing with a woman who's pretty toxic to our main character. But that even though we claim her as toxic, she was actually like the best thing for our main character, Steve. So he had to go through a lot of hurdles to see why he has to go through it by the end of the movie. But so with this one, I was inspired to make this movie because Like you said, I've been on a bunch of things, and I've written a bunch of characters, and I know what kind of privilege it is to watch my characters come to life. From my mind to the screen, and then be able to watch it. It's a great privilege as a filmmaker, and I wanted to help Rob get that feeling before anything happens. So that was my inspiration for Empathy, but I had to make sure the story was something that I connected with and I got excited about. Because if I'm directing something and I'm not excited about it, I'm not going to put my best into it. So I had to kind of morph the story to something that was exciting for me to want to jump into it. And then once I got excited about it, it was, the train was on the tracks. And it was a short film at first. And then I talked to my producer, Gene Johnson, and he was like, hey, what can you do with a feature? And I was like, with a feature, we can do this. And he said, let's go with a feature. So then I had to go and write more pages and write more stuff, and then it became a feature. But shout out to my cast and crew because they just did a phenomenal job. My cast has been with me for like 6 months, and they watched this. They watched this project go from low budget short to a low budget feature. But they was rocking with me, and I definitely appreciate it. And the crew killed it. So we had a good time on that one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've mentioned Amber Heard. Okay, we've got some breaking news. The verdict is out. She lost it and she still owes. Yes, indeed. Yes.
She's yeah, that's a pretty hefty penny to pay.
Yes. Listen, and I'll just say this to add on to that. You can't mistreat people because at the end of the day, it is always going to come out. The truth is always going to come out. And we've lost so many people throughout this year. So give people their flowers while they're still here. Cherish them each and every moment while
Yeah,
they're here. And
100%.
Jennifer wants to know, have you made a series?
Um, I've been a part of some, or like some that was gonna start as a series but end up becoming a short. I have an ideal for a series in my head now that I've been kind of like tinkering around with. I've been seeing these characters kind of come to life in my head lately, and it's like I want to make something that feels like I ain't gonna give away all my creative juices, but I want to make something that feels like the game and like power mixed together a little bit.
I
So
see
I've
where you're
been
going.
yeah, so I've been kind of like having this drama in my head, and all these characters are starting to come to me out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, I might follow that rabbit, and that might be like a feature that I kind of like put a lot of my brain power behind.
Okay, okay. After the book, we will be working on a series. So it's interesting. And when we talk about television series and shows, what advice for you as a director, as a producer, because you've shot music videos, you've done so much throughout your career. What advice would you give to people if they're looking to get into a series, you know, or
Oh
for
well, what is
producers?
from a producer side? I mean, it's just like depending on again, I'm a big champion of don't let anything hold you back, and that's including gear and including you know rentals. I mean, if you just treat people well and you become a source of positive energy, you'll be so surprised how much people just want to spend time with you on set and willing to work because they believe in the project. I'm a big I say this a lot on set. Filmmaking is like a gumbo. It's all the flavors that make it. It's not just my flavor, but it's all flavors. So when I'm on set, I like to make sure that everyone feels like they're being a filmmaker, and it's not it's my vision, of course, but I'm very open to a lot of ideals. So even if you don't have a budget for a series or you have a big budget for a series, I say no matter what, do your best at it and make sure that everyone feels like they're a part of it, especially with a series because you got to come back a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot of character development with series. And you're going to see these characters grow, and you're going to grow with your cast while you're working with them. So, especially with a series, have multiple directors. I mean, you can try to do all of that, but if you're in a series and you're a producer, then you're the showrunner. So you may want to lend on a couple of directors. So this way, the schedule just continues to kind of go. So and also it gives a chance for your show to look. Um, different in like different parts of the season. So I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that with series, there's multiple directors throughout that. But getting that network of directors that you trust to take over some of those episodes so that you can still do your job as a showrunner.
Absolutely, 100%. See, Jennifer says she wants to connect with you and she would love for you to jump on her project.
Oh, sweet. Look at that. Look at that. Look, 2022. It's the year.
Networking. See?
Networking, that's important. Definitely, Jennifer, please hit me up my at Leland Benford. Please direct message me, and we'll definitely link up and talk about it. But I'm looking to work and collab with a lot of people this year. I have some commercials coming up. I'm about to get ready to do for one of our main clients. We have a boot camp that's coming out. I work with a guy named Gene Johnson. He's one of the executive producers on Empathy. But we actually teach people how to build new houses from the ground up, and that's a project that I'm very passionate about because it's teaching people like us how to build houses and be competitive in the real estate market. So it's something that's much needed in our community.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you're giving back to your community in Detroit because so much talent has come to Detroit. And when you mentioned South Carolina, I'm like, Bing, that's my hometown. That's where I'm actually from. I was born and raised in South Carolina. My father's from New York. So
Oh, cool.
definitely. It's talent everywhere. It's talent all over the
Everywhere.
world. You've mentioned Atlanta also. Atlanta is like the Black Mecca. So you can find a lot of talent. It's a lot of up and coming producers, directors, writers, musicians. It's so much if you're looking to get into this field of people that can help you where you need to be. So let me
Yeah,
see.
Atlanta is a big collaborative city. I love Atlanta. The vibe here is just one of everybody just wants to help everybody, and everyone is open with their information and their knowledge because we all just want to see each other grow. So that's me coming from Detroit, where it's definitely not that kind of vibe, and then me living in Orlando and living in Florida and coming here, which is uh, such a just a new take on a metro city for me.
So what is it like transitioning from Detroit to Atlanta? What is it like for you? Because I know the whole moving process is just a lot, especially with you being a producer and director and having all of these things on your belt. What is that transition process like for you to go from one city to another city?
So I like to take things. I like to make sure if I'm jumping to something else, there's solid foundation. So I'm definitely not a. I'll take a leap of faith, but I gotta know there's some cushion there. So like for me, when I came to Atlanta, I was coming from Orlando. That's right when I graduated from Full Sail University. I went to Full Sail for film. So I went right from Full Sail to Atlanta, and I had three jobs in my first like month here. Um, yeah, I was just like one was paying 8, one was paying 12, one was paying 15. I'm like, I'll chill at the 15 for a second to something else come up.
Balance.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I gotta go up, gotta go up. And then I worked from there after that 15 job. I got a really good job in sales with Esquire Depositions, and I learned sales there. You know, I became a sales person, and I was cold calling every day. But I learned a valuable skill in sales. And while I was working there, I said, you know, I think I could take this skill I just learned here in the sales department and just apply it to my own production company. So that's when I took that leap of faith and just said, hey, I'm about to tell my wife, like, hey, I'm about to quit my job. She was like, okay, if you, if you think you can do it. I said, oh, no, we can do it. So then I just took that skills of sales and just took that leap of faith. And then now that was a little over a year ago, and we just shot our first feature. So I'm happy we did it. I think we're good. I
And
didn't
look
have
at
to
the
sell the
job, the
dog
end
yet, so I
result.
think we're doing good.
Right. And the end result, it's sometimes where you do things that are uncomfortable where I can understand where wife is coming from, where it's just like, okay, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure this is your final answer? So I totally can understand where she's coming from. You
Yeah.
know, it can be uncomfortable going into a new scene in a whole different world and a whole different time.
Yes.
And getting out of your norm, out of your comfort zone. Because you said
Yeah.
you had three jobs. That's why my eyes widened up like that. Because I'm just like, how did you find that balance? Again, being a director or a producer is all about finding that balance
Yeah.
and making sure that it works for you because you have to save up and if producing or directing filmmaking is something that you want to do it's not, it's not cheap. You have to
No.
make sure that you invest.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. But like, again, it can be if you just, it can be like I can shoot a film on my phone and have a great time doing it, And I just, it's just setting those expectations. Like, yeah, do we not have a red for this one or whatever? But like some of the funnest stuff I've shot cost $100. Like my movie Ice Pimp cost $100 to make. We had a great time making it. It's one of my favorite things that I've shot, and I say it cost $100 because I bought food for the cast, and that ended up being $100. But I let them know this was just a fun passion project, and it's one of my funnest things. And we're actually going to have a Ice Pimp little movie party coming up in August, where we want people to come dressed up in 70s attire, 70s clothes. We're going to have a best dress 70s contest. And we want to have fun watching this Ice Pimp movie. It's only a 20-minute movie, but we're going to do a lot of other things to have fun, like have a stand-up comedian there and dance and have a good time. So, but again, that's a $100 movie that I feel very confident putting in front of an audience because it was just good storytelling, So that's my main focus. Now, when I do get the opportunity to have a big crew and like with Empathy, we had a full 30-person crew, and it was a task just with parking every day. Like, where the hell is everyone going to park? That's like something that I wasn't even thinking about until like 2 weeks before we had to shoot. You know, but when you have that big of a crew, it's still the same. My story techniques are still there. It's just now I have a lot more tools to my disposal to help tell my story. So lighting and everything like that, and then also just having these other brilliant minds on set to help me out of, because like I ain't gonna lie, man, shooting a feature film, we had 12 days. It was like, a
Wow.
nice boom, 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 boom. It was 12-hour days. There's a lot of mental and physical just exhaustion that comes along with it. And I did have to lean on my team sometimes, like, hey, I don't know what the hell I want to shoot right now. Can you help me out? And, and just say like, hey, my brain is done. I don't know what to do. But being able to say that and then have your team carry you through is why
Mhm.
you got a good team in the first place. I like to say if you think you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You know.
100% true. 100% true. You can't do it alone. You have to depend on people sometimes. And Jennifer wants to know, did you film? Are you asking Jennifer, did you go to the film festival, or are some of your projects going to be in the film festival? I think that's what she meant. And she says that she's going to Full Sail University now.
Hey, let's go Full Sail. My boy Wish Bari is in the spot. Shout out to Bari. He just got engaged to his beautiful fiance over the
Congratulations.
weekend, and he's a full seller as well. But yeah, shout out to Full Sail. Full Sail definitely instills work ethic into all their students. Full Sail definitely gets you prepared for what it's like, and that's where I really fell in love with just being on set was at Full Sail. But I can tell you right now, Jennifer, if you go and you just go to the classrooms, you're only getting half the education. You gotta go on set. They mean with Full Sail, you can just walk on and say, "Hey, can I PA?" But being a good PA, that's how I was able to work myself in next to the director and next to the DP and next to the gaffer and next to all these different positions, just so I can learn. So I think a good director knows a little bit about all the positions and how they work together and understands setup times. And if you guys don't know, if you haven't been on a set, stuff take forever. Some of the simplest stuff will take forever, and you got to be patient. And I think it's my job as a director to keep everyone, vibe up a little bit,
Mhm.
and set the tone, So, but yeah, Full Sail is definitely just one of those places that just gets you ready for what it's like for real.
Absolutely. She says she has 2 months left and that she is in entertainment business.
Oh, my wife did entertainment business. Sweet. That's where I met my wife. I met my wife at Full Sail. We met on a music video set at Full Sail. Yep, and she
See,
was in entertainment business.
that is that networking. I'm telling you, you never know who you could meet and
Yep,
who could
yep,
be
yep.
following. who could be watching. Is so much more that comes along with it.
Yep, yep.
100%.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, fashion dolls. So, Leland, what's next for you after this film? Because this project you said took a lot of work, longer hours on set for empathy, I'm pretty sure. What is next? What can people expect next after empathy?
So we are doing that. We're in post production right now for Empathy. So guys, definitely watch out for Empathy. We are doing a grown and sexy premiere night here in Atlanta. We're doing a Growing and Sexy premiere night here in Atlanta, and then we're doing a premiere in Gaffney, Carolina for Rob the writer. So he's going to have a premiere night as well. Shout out to Dwayne Deal. That's my father-in-law. He is from Bermuda. My wife is Bermudian. So we may even do a premiere night in Bermuda. So we plan on doing a couple of premiere nights for Empathy. But we're also going to have a website where you can go and watch it direct if you can't make the premiere nights. But right now, post production, I'm looking to get together Empathy soundtrack. I'm looking to get some Empathy merch going. So we have a lot of big plans still left for Empathy. But I do want to make an Ice Pimp movie. If you guys go to our YouTube, Cupcake Rapture Studios, you can watch Ice Pimp there now, or you can come out and watch it with us in August when we have an Ice Pimp night and come out dressed like some in your favorite 70s clothes. But yeah, right now, I'm just going to take a break and then start figuring out what we want to do next. But I think Ice Pimp feature film might be in the works next.
All right. And let me see. I hope I didn't miss anything. Liz, not yeah. Liz has a question, and Jennifer says she's going also for her husband went to Full Sail as well too for creative writing and filmmaking.
Oh, dope. Yeah, Full Sail all day. I love when I say I'm from Full Sail, and other people are like, "Oh, you're from Full Sail." So, and they and even in Full Sail, they say make sure we keep that reputation. And I hope I'm doing them justice with what we're doing here. But I can let you know right now, in order to get Empathy done, I had to rely on so much I learned from Full Sail. So I followed what they taught me, and it got me to this point. So I'm definitely grateful. Now, if they can just forgive my student loan debts for me saying that, I would appreciate that.
I know, right? And that sucks. Oh my goodness. Okay, Liz, who's an artist in New York, shout outs to her. She says, in the climb to achieve your goal, do you feel it is okay and even good to work? Let me see. Let me see. To work a job that will keep you going. Got it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I shot Dear Sister when I had a 9 to 5 job. It just takes that extra. You got to work your 9 to 5, then you 5 to 9. Like that's just how it is. If that's what you got to do. But I definitely listen. I'm blessed right now where I'm at right now. But if I all I can say is just you got to get it done. Pretty much, just yeah, definitely work your 9 to 5. You schedule that time for rehearsals after work. That weekend when you got off, shoot that movie, hand it off to an editor. I'm a big component of outsourcing. And you can't make a movie by yourself. I mean, you can, but it's just going to be a lot more difficult. But just build those relationships. Find someone who's just getting into editing, or a cousin that that does it, and just say, hey, I'll get you some chicken wings one day. Come on, cuz you got me. And just build
All
those,
right.
but build those networks and build those relationships. You'd be so surprised how much people just want to be down. And if you're a director of a project, it's your job to pass your passion on to the next person, and the next person a part of this project. So if you pass your passion to this person, and now they're passionate about the project, and then the other person's passionate, and then now you got a room full of you got 10 people in the same room and they all passionate about the same thing. You guys go get it done. You go get it done, and you're gonna have a good time doing it, and you're gonna watch it back with your friends later, and you might say, hey, I need to submit this to a festival. It's actually pretty damn good. you know and that's the process, and then you do it all over again and just bigger and better next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Fashion Dolls. So we're going to get into our two games with Leland, and then we're going to take some questions from the audience. The first one is called the Rapid Five. And Leland has to tell us five things that he can't live without. It can be as a producer or just in general, when you're not Leland the producer, or whatever, just in life. Your
Okay.
five things. And then the next one, we're going to turn the tables. So Miss Stevie gets put in the hot seat. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions, as many as they want, so that for the new viewers out there, you get to know what are my likes, what are my things, what just whatever it is. So we're going to start off with the rapid five. What are five things that you can't live without?
So I'm gonna go with something a lot of people know that I'm a fan of, but that is professional wrestling. I'm actually a really big fan of professional wrestling. So that's one
Okay.
thing that I definitely gonna do. My wife, of course. Dang, I just put professional wrestling in front of my wife. That's not good.
I was just about to say that.
Ugh, that's not good. Lemon pepper chicken wings. Um, Bad movies. I love watching bad movies, like movies that are just so bad they're good. Um, and then the last one, I would say editing, not being able to edit. I love being able to kind of, that's like putting together puzzles. So being able to put together that puzzle is a good just like time pass for me and a stress reliever in a way when I'm getting all this footage and put together a story. So that's something I would definitely wouldn't want to be without.
All right, fashion dolls. And before we get to the turn the table segment, we have a question from Liz. She wants to know, where does the love of your art come
The first thing that popped to my mind was okay. So I lost my dad in 1996 when I was
from?
9, and my mother and I went to the movies a lot during that time. And I think just kind of having that time of where we both focus on the same thing and not having to kind of like talk about it was good. But also, my mom used to really get into movies. Like she'll be stuck in a movie, and I remember seeing that a lot. It was like, man, that movie got a real hold on her. And I think that's where like the passion for storytelling came. And then in school, it helped out. Here's a true story, everybody. So I'm mixed. I'm black and white. My mother's white. My father's black. I grew up in Detroit, all black schools. Tell me why the teachers in the Detroit public schools thought it would be a good idea for me to play the bus driver who tells Rosa Parks she got to get up out the seat. Every Black History Month, I was that guy. What's up with that? But it's cool. I was that guy in Santa Claus every time. But that so being in school plays and all that type of stuff and getting reactions from the audience and then being a pastor's kid and having like a service and being in a choir playing the drums, I've always kind of just grew up with an audience. And it's a good feeling when you're watching your movie with an audience and they laugh at the parts they're supposed to laugh at and they ooh and ah. That's just a good feeling. It's just I don't know. It's just I can't explain it, but it's a good feeling when the audience is with you on what you're watching.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add on to that. The comments are saying, after seeing the final production come together is amazing after editing. And that is from Jennifer. And Liz, I love what she just said. She said, storytelling your word. And I say this all the time here. It is nothing better than telling your own story your way. You control everything you want to control and how you want it to run.
Right.
Whatever it is. And even when you're writing down your journal, whatever it is, you're telling a story. So you keep those things. You hold on to those precious little moments. So I agree with that wholeheartedly,
Yeah.
100%. All right, fashion dolls, it is time to turn those tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions. I have no clue what Leland is going to ask me, as many questions as he wants. So take it away.
So, what got you started doing these lives and these interviews?
Well, I ever since I was 8 years old, middle school, they gave us a school assignment. We had to go home and interview people. And I remember interviewing some of my family members like I was a news anchor or a reporter, and I said I would love to have my own talk show. So to see it come to fruition and sit with the great likes of yourself, Vanessa Williams, so many others that I've had on this platform is just unreal. It's like it's all coming together full circle. So that's how I knew. As a child, you always know things that you want to do when you're young. 'Cause your parents always ask you, even if you graduate high school, they'll
Hmm.
ask, "Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to work? Are you going to go to college? What is going to be your plan?" Da, da, da. So from there, I said, I want to do talk. I want to host a talk show. And it's always been a dream of mine. So, yeah.
There we go. Cool. Now, if you had a chance to interview anybody, living or moved on, who would you like to interview?
Everyone knows this. And she's one of my favorite singers. It will be a dream come true. And I feel like our chemistry and our auras would just match Whitney Houston.
Mm,
God rest. And it's something about I just love people who have like yourself who have a down hole, just down to earth spirit. I feel like we would just hit it off. I would say Taraji P. Henson because our personalities are almost alike. We're both crazy in a good way. We like to have a good time, and that would be a great interview. So,
okay. Okay. Um, if you would you be like, let's say you had your pick of the litter and you could be on any network, would you be a daytime talk show host or a late night talk show host?
like James Corden or Jenny. I would have to say daytime. I'm a daytime person. I'm a morning person. I don't know. Some people just like, oh, I hate the mornings because I used to do the show in the mornings at 11 o'clock every day, but I said let's move it to the daytime before. So I would have to say daytime.
Okay, that's something I've been talking to some producers about, is that there's such a gap in the marketplace for a black late night talk show. Like I'm a huge fan of late night, and I just think having someone to represent our voice there would be great to have. Someone that's steady. If you could put together your own late night show and pick a host, who would you put in there?
Oh, of course, I would choose my co-host Johnny. He's amazing. He's awesome. But if another choice, I would say who I would love to work with. Oh my goodness. I mean, it'll come to me. It'll come to. It'll come to. I can't think right off the bat. I've had so many guests on here, and they just had, experience with hosting and directing
Yeah.
and doing things behind the scenes. I would have to say Angela and Wavo. She would be great. She
Oh
would be
wow.
great. She models. She's beautiful. So I would have to say she would be good as well too. So I would have to go with Angela and Wavo, or either my co-host John.
Okay, so what sort of challenges have you faced, just kind of getting on your journey with this show, with your Instagram lives and your interview and pursuing that? What's some of your challenges?
And I kind of chuckled at that because I'm not gonna get emotional. Um, being a black woman is one. Being a black woman is definitely one of the challenges that I faced, and I'm just not using that as a scapegoat or a
Hmm.
ticket. But some of the audience have seen it. I've done shows where I'm just like I'm in an uncomfortable position, and I've had guests on, and I'm just like the energy is definitely off. I wouldn't bring this person back, but energy is definitely off. Again, I'm about vibes, clicking,
Hmm.
and positive reinforcement.
Hmm.
So I would have to say being a woman is one of them. Being black is another one. Um, it's difficult, and it has its challenges. And for me, having to battle all of this that's coming my way, it's a whole lot. It's like the gladiator. Literally, you're having to wear your armor all the time,
Yeah,
duck and dodge whatever comes your way. So yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay, and I got one more question for you. Um, I had it and I lost it. Give me 1 second. Tell me about some of your upbringing. Tell me about some of your. I got a question for you. Was there any moment like in school in the from like kindergarten up where you had a chance to kind of be the star in the room, or those moments where you shined and you noticed? I think I shine a little brighter than the others around me sometimes.
I would have to say around middle school, coming out of middle school, because I was bullied a lot, and who hasn't? But going into high school, because middle school I had to, conform. I had to do this a certain way. But then when I got into high school, I remember I came in with this platinum blonde, short hair. People was not expecting it. But it's not about hair right now. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone and into your
Yeah.
truth, owning your truth and mastering it. And more importantly, whatever comes your way, whatever criticism. Again, I was bullied all the way up until high school. But then when they came in and they seen such confidence, it took a turn and worked in my favor. So you have to, again, it goes back to what Liz was saying. When it comes to storytelling or whatever it is, you take it and you spin it. Don't let people take advantage of you or
Hmm.
mistreat. And this is when I got a little bit fiery. This is where the fiery side of me really came out, because being bullied is like, okay, I'm going to bite back. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm a Scorpio. So we're
Uh
always,
oh.
going for the gusto. We're always adventurous in a good
Yeah.
way. We're always wanting to stand up for what is right, and we're very passionate about it. So I would have to say middle school was when I learned to really
Okay.
come into my, you know, after that, going into high school is when I really came into my
Cool. Cool. Um, oh, I had one more thing. I just lost it. Just completely lost it. But that's interesting. Like even with me, like growing up in Detroit, Detroit can be rough,
own.
at times. And then like after I lost my dad, that was rough. But I've always been somewhat, able to kind of, I don't know. I had this unbelievable luck, like where I had like a good set of friends and a good set of people, and and it is about vibes and energy and just. I think the older we get, we can pick up on it real quick who just we don't vibe with, and like it's not even worth trying to like start any kind of professional relationship or anything with some people. And that's actually something they said at Full Sail. They said, like, look around the people that's in your class. You're gonna know real quick who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. And I think the older we get, we don't force those relationships like we did when we were younger, when or if you just want to be liked or anything like that. So you let a bad relationship fester in fear of not being liked. But I think the older we get, we kind of just I don't care. You cannot like me. You're not going to affect me one way or the other. But it's power in that as well. I think and just knowing that you're not going to please everyone all the time, and you're not everyone's cup of tea all the time, and that's
Yeah.
fine because I'm my own cup of tea. So that's like I think the power we get with becoming a little bit more mature. Um, yeah.
And it really, really kicks in. It's like what it is for us, 100%. It really kicks in. Confidence, people think you can go and buy confidence. No, it takes time, to build up slowly. And as I got into high school, I was just like, okay, I developed this thick skin where I'm just like, I don't care what you think, but I'm going to stand up for myself. And my mom, she always told me that, because I remember I used to go home and tell her. My mom had to, whose mom hasn't had to come out to the school because, getting into situations, but I wasn't really the type to get into fights. I would just go and tell the principal,
Hmm.
what happened. My mom would be like, okay, we need to do something here. Y'all can't keep doing this to my child.
So
So,
to share this with everyone, this is actually something that really that just happened to me, and it was very interesting how it happened. I like to believe that everything happens for a reason.
yeah.
And the last weekend, my wife and I we went to Savannah for a little vacation. We just shot the movie. We just needed a break, so we went to Savannah. And beautiful city. We had a great time. But on the last day there, I woke up out of nowhere, like at 4 a.m. pretty unusual for me. But I woke up out of nowhere for 4 a.m. and I figured I'd put the TV on. And I put it on, and when HBO was on, it was playing a movie called Defending Your Life by Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks wrote it and directed it. Don't know if you ever heard of it. I never heard of it. I never knew this movie ever existed. But in this movie, pretty much what happens is they're setting it up that when you die, you don't go to heaven or hell right away. You actually go to this town called Judgment Town. And in Judgment Town, you have an opportunity to defend your life. That if you go back as a new person or you just get erased. And what they judge that on is that if you learned how to overcome fear in your previous lifetimes, then you get to go back. But if you didn't learn how to overcome your fear, then what was the point of sending you back? So this person had to defend all these moments in his life where he just kind of cowered or let his fear take the best of him. And again, this felt like it was just for me because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm watching this movie that I've never even heard of, and the message of it was just so strong. And I had to look it up on MBD and then take a picture of it, and then because I was sleepy as crap. But I went home after that and rewatched the movie just to make sure. But it was just such a strong message. So I definitely recommend to go check out "Defending Your Life." It's a 1991 movie. It's pretty funny, but the message in there about if you don't learn how to overcome your fear, then why are
Yeah.
you here? That's pretty much like the gist of the movie. Like, why are you here? Why are you wasting time? Why are you wasting space if you're not going to overcome your fear and get the life that you want?
And more importantly, you can't live your life through fear.
Exactly.
It's like you said in the beginning, when you took that move from Detroit to Atlanta, you took the leap. Sometimes you have to take a leap, and it can be uncomfortable. It can be scary taking a leap, but you have to do what works for you. Sometimes, even for me with this platform, I've had to make choices where I'm just like, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to change it. Shout outs to my brother Scott Valentine for that. He even said it, that we have to do things that we are not comfortable doing for the betterment of our careers, for the betterment of our life, to be even more successful. And I took his advice, and so far I see change. I see the growth in this platform. I see the potential that everyone is saying. Because before I'm just like, nobody's gonna watch this, but people are watching, believe it
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
And we gotta kind of get out of our own way. Get out of our own way.
Just do it.
100 and do it.
Just do it. Just do it. If good or bad, at least you said you did it. Because if one thing I learned from uh, the producer Gene Johnson again. If you guys get a chance, go follow Gene_Johnson1. He's a real estate investor. He's a developer. Shout out to my boy Miles who just jumped in. He's an awesome filmmaker. He actually was the director of Ultimatum. I was the editor on that one. Check him out as well. Ultimatum is a dope film. But Gene always says you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to fail, because when you fail, you actually just learn how to do it better. And if you're passionate about it, that failure is just another way of getting better. And that's just the truth. It really is. It's just even don't be afraid to fail big and in front of everybody, because you're just going to get better. You're going to get better from it. So, I mean, that's just facts.
Absolutely, 100%. And Liz wants to know, what is your desire to keep living?
My father always said the secret to life is to feel good. So I like my schedule where I work hard for 4 months and play for a month. That's the schedule that I like. For me, that works. I like putting that grind in and then being able to enjoy it. So, because what's the point? So, but that all that grind, it makes it worth it when you get a chance to enjoy it and you get a chance to close that chapter, on those 4 months of hard work. and have that time to kind of refresh and get ready for the next chapter. And that's kind of where we're at. I just kind of closed the chapter on the production of Empathy, and now I'm opening up the chapter on the pre-production side of Empathy and getting ready for that journey. And then the premiere, and I'm just going to manifest all the success is going to come from it. It's going to be exhausting.
It's gonna come.
That's me manifesting as much as I can.
Put it out there in the universe, and it's gonna come full circle. It's gonna come so fast when you least expect it. It's gonna be like deja vu. I'm putting things out there, and I've manifested it. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe this is really happening, and it happens full circle.
It does. It really do. Like having deja vu is like, oh, that just reminded me I am on the right path. That's how I look
Mhm.
at it. Like I am on the right path. I saw this because I'm supposed to be here.
Absolutely. Another question from Liz. She wants to know what is an item from your childhood you still have and
Um, I don't think I have anything original from like my childhood that I can think of, but I did go through the process of like buying old video games from my childhood because I have an older brother who's 10 years older than me. So you can imagine I didn't get a chance to play the video game as much as I wanted to when he walked in the room. So I did go through a process recently of buying games that I had when I was younger, but I didn't have access to them. So I am doing that. But I don't think I have anything original. I'm not that kind of like a sentimental person like that when it comes to like certain items. So like just get rid of it. I'll buy another one, hopefully. It's like so I did just buy Nintendo 64 and bought some games on there that I couldn't play when I was younger. Um, and stuff like that. So yeah. Thanks for the question.
that is a great question. For me, it's all about cherishing what's sentimental, those things that matter most.
Hmm.
Always something. Always something. Do we have any more questions, fashion dolls, for Leland or myself? This is such a great conversation and interview. A color you like to wear every day.
I like blue and red.
Not just blue.
There you go. So I got a question for you because I think I can still ask some questions. How has fashion inspired you?
A lot. I love it. I love, and I had our guy who's a producer and producing his own show called Fashion Craze, which will be dropping this summer. And we talk fashion all day. So fashion has been beneficial to my life because it's really inspired me to get confidence. And I gave myself the makeover. I didn't go to anybody. I just gave myself, I said, okay, I'm going to change up my look. And I do it almost every single day. And people are just like, well, how does she do it? You come on, new hair every day, new nail color, new different everything. For me, fashion is everything because it's what makes me feel good. We're
Yeah.
all beautiful inside and out, and it's up to us to just embrace it. You put on anything, a nice pair of shoes or a nice pair of jeans or whatever, you embrace whatever that is. So fashion has helped me a long way to kind of step out of my shell and be comfort and more importantly, confident with who I am.
Mhm. My mom always said, if you look good, you feel good.
Exactly. Yes.
So, just to let you know, in Empathy, fashion was very important for me. For my main character, Dakota Tarn. Uh, Dakota is from Australia. She's a beautiful actress and model from Australia, and she really digged into this character of Susan, where she legit picked out everything Susan was going to wear. That's how engraved Susan was with her. So and there's some hot, sexy scenes in this movie, and Dakota was responsible for all the looks, the wigs, the makeup. Like she gave makeup tips. Shout out to makeup artist Olympia Kit. They worked together on kind of coming up with some of these looks for Susan. But I told everyone in the beginning like fashion was important for me in this movie because just the contrast between the characters where Steve, the main male character, he doesn't care about fashion. That's not his thing. But as you see him starting to fall deeper in Susan's kind of hole here, you see his fashion change, you see his
Um,
hair change, and you see how he goes through his own metamorphosis. But Susan was the stem. Actually, you see how other characters around Susan fashion change once she comes into the picture. So fashion was, and I wanted people to feel like Susan and empathy was just this new girl every time you saw her, and and I think that keeps things exciting when you're dating someone new, and every time you see them, they look different. It's like, who the hell am I dating? You know? And I thought, like, so I wanted that for Susan, and so all her looks just change up drastically from one part to another. Where it's like, who is this girl? Like, who am I really dating? So I wanted the audience to feel like that. I wanted them to feel what Steve is going to be feeling in this movie. So I would love to get your opinion later and see how we did. Did we do a good job with Susan and her fashion choices?
I definitely have to check it out.
Yes,
Got to. I
yes.
can't wait to see it. Oh, and we got a question from Liz. What is your power word?
I don't know if I have a power word. Liz, what is your power word? What's your
Hmm.
power word, Miss Stevie?
Mine's, the last time I said fearless, the second one I said was goddess. I'm going to have to go with independent.
Mm,
Independent, having freedom and control to explore and just say my story, because for so long I've been told, you know, don't say this, don't say it, in my younger days. But now I'm just like, as me being an adult, fully, independence would have to be mine.
I'm gonna say courage. Have courage every day.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Because when it comes to taking those leaps, it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah. Just dealing, especially in the world we're in right now. You just need courage. Courage will take you a long way. Oh, she said flourish. I like that. I like that. My
That's a
homegirl
good.
get my homegirl gave me a reading the other day, and I had a lot of abundance cards. So that's another one. Yes, more abundance. Need more, bringing in more abundance into my life.
And it's all, again, manifestation. It ties in manifestation, that abundance. All of it is coming full circle when you're surrounded 100% by a great support system.
Yes, yes.
So, do we have any more questions, fashion dolls? This is such a great conversation. And I hope you guys are taking something from this, because it truly can help a lot of people. Confidence, again, isn't easy. It takes a while to build it up. And some people think that you can just go and it's just like, okay, I take a red pill or a blue pill and I gain it overnight.
That's true. And also just know that sometimes you might wake up and your confidence cup is a little empty. And you might need to be the one taking that back seat that day until it just regains, and don't try to push it, because I've learned that in my lifetime, where the days where I'm not feeling that confident, I'm trying to fake that confidence, and I end up in more trouble than I started off in. And it's best when it's natural and you feel it to take advantage of it.
Absolutely, 100%. And flourish, because if you commit to keep growing on your way, absolutely, absolutely. And I agree with
100%.
that.
Yep.
Where's your light? Meaning, where is the bliss for you?
My light is my wife. My wife, Phaedra Deal. She's from Bermuda. She taught me a lot. I got a script in my mind a little bit about like our story. But when I met her, I'm from Detroit, big city where we move a lot. She's from Bermuda, small island. They take a lot of time for themselves, and she really taught me to take time out to enjoy life. And you don't always. She called me a busybody. She's like, you always just up down, up down. Want to go here? Want to do this? Got to go. Boop, 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 boop. And when we were dating one day, she said, "You want to just go to the park and lay in the sun?" I was like, "What? Oh, there's stuff to do. We could do stuff. Like we don't have to just lay in the sun." I was like, so that was new. Like even just that was new. Just to stay still for a second. So she definitely taught me the benefits of remembering to enjoy life and remembering to just enjoy the earth that we're on. Um, and I definitely understand that now. Like for me, the only thing that is real is the earth. Like I tell people all the time, like everything man-made can be destroyed, and the only thing that's real is the earth we have under us. So just
Yeah,
remembering to take time to enjoy the earth that we have and the time we have here, because that's the true gift. That's our biggest gift is the earth. So just remembering to enjoy it and taking time to reconnect with it before we get back to our lives, because there's always going to be bills. There's always going to be somebody needs a report, someone needs a video, someone needs a this, someone needs a that. And we in production companies, we're definitely service. We're pretty much in the service industry. We're providing a service for people. So it's always going to be someone needing that service, and just remembering to take time for yourself and reconnect.
absolutely. In the silence, we can find ourselves self-reflection. Sit back and reflect and be in that moment and be still.
Yeah, it's power in that. It really is. It's like I said, it's a good chance for you to reflect, close a chapter, open up a chapter. If you don't know where you're at in your book, who's writing it?
100%. What do these words make you feel? Wind, ground, drop, tunnel.
World War II. Sorry to go dark. That was the first thing that popped up. I was like, wind, ground, drop, tunnel. Oh, we got to get under something. We in danger. Um, Wind, because my wife is a Gemini. She's a wind sign. So definitely with that, ground, being grounded, being connected, drop drop down and get your eagle on, girl. And tunnel, uh, tunnel. I just think of trenches and things like that. But you can tunnel your way into something. You can tunnel your way into success. You know, you don't have to always be on top. You can go an alternate route and tunnel your way into something great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's so many ways. I tell people all the time. There's so many ways to to get the things that you want, and just sometimes it just takes persistence and just being clever and trying to, like I said, be everyone's cousin. You know, people like to help family. So if like I said, pass your passion. If people feel your passion, they're going to be passionate right along with you. And sometimes people are looking for things to be passionate about. You know, so if you can pass that passion, then you got a lot of people on your side. Then that's why I wanted to do this show. I watched some of your other stuff. I said, I could feel her passion.
Thank you so much. 100%. And that's it for me. Whatever. Thank you for being transparent and answering my question.
Yes, Liz, it was fun.
Yes, and I'm very much am. I believe in whatever it is that I put my mind to. My mom always taught me to believe and work hard and have perseverance, never to give up. If you need to, take breaks, and more importantly, like Liz mentioned, um, silence and being still and self-reflection. What do you want to leave behind as a lesson to be?
Okay, so I guess this would be a good one to leave off on. My father always said you got to think, know, and do. You got to think about what it is you want to do. You need to research and then know how to do it. Maybe go to school for it or whatever, but you got to know how to do it. And then the last step is just to do it. And I think a lot of people have thought about what they wanted to do, and they maybe even learned what they wanted to do or learned some what they wanted to do, but always felt like they didn't have enough information or didn't have enough credibility or have enough experience. Well, the only way to get that is to do it, and you got to just do it. If you don't have that fuel in your engine, then you need to figure out what that feel is and get it going. But that's really the key to being a success with in any field is think, know, and do.
Absolutely. 100%. And learn from it as well too. We make mistakes, but learn from it.
Yeah,
Take that and learn from it and use that as the stepping stone for the next grade.
exactly. No one got to where they're going to be without making some mistakes and having failures. Even our biggest celebrities and stars, they all have movies that failed tremendously.
Yeah. And they've had to come back and redeem yourself. It's redemption. That's what it all
But if you're
is.
committed to it, it don't matter. Hey, you win some, you lose some. But as long as you stay in the fight, that's all that matters.
That's right.
Yep. But it has been a real pleasure speaking with you. So happy that you reached out to me to talk about empathy and to talk about everything. If anybody wants to follow me, please do at Leland Benford at cupcake_rapture_studios and at empathy_film. Our Facebook group for empathy is growing. We just got over our 600 member mark, which I'm super excited. We're just a couple away from 700. So our goal is 1,000. So we're just going to keep trucking on. But empathy is definitely having a lot of traction and a lot of excitement around it. So if you guys want to know more about it, definitely follow our empathy pages. And I'm going to be posting behind the scenes photos and videos, and we got more stuff coming up. And also our premiere night. We're trying to do it this year, and you'll definitely have an invite.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I definitely would love to have you back in the future. Empathy, you guys. So make sure you guys follow the pages, follow Leland, and stay tuned. The film for the film Empathy. Please go and follow and share this live. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
You too. Take care, everyone. Tomorrow, supermodel Kara Young. I want everyone, you guys, be safe and enjoy the first new month of June. I feel like summer is here already. It's scorching hot. So make sure you guys put on your sundresses, whatever. Make sure you guys are staying cool, eat some ice cream, and celebrate. I love you all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.